Hey, what's up, everybody? Rob Marzullo here, Ram Studio Comics, and got a video for you today. And today it's going to be inking warm up, uh, or an inking warm up that I do. I'm using Manga Studio. I've got a fresh layer going on here. I've got the inking brush, and I get a lot of people that ask me about settings. So I wanted to kind of address this and show you that I just use the basic G pen that comes inside Manga Studio 5EX. So I'm not going to adjust anything there. If you want to play with settings, I would suggest that you work more in the settings with the Wacom Utilities Manager, not this. So that being said, I'm just going to go ahead and get started. What I like to do before I start inking on my Blackstone comic book, which by the way you can pick up at Indie Planet. Look at Blackstone Eternal by Ram Studios. But what I do is I just sit here and practice doing a variety of lines. I do this not only as a warm-up practice, but just practice in general to be able to have a variety of lines that I can execute when I'm, working on my book. Nothing worse than say, just having a very repetitive style that doesn't have much flair to it or effect. You want almost a different effect for each and every texture that you're trying to emulate with your comic book drawing. You don't have to have, I guess, one for every one, but it's nice to have a variety of textures that you can implement into your drawing. That's what gives it life and makes it more fun to look at for the viewer. Now, by hitting X, I can go back and forth from black and white. I really like that effect with Manga Studio because throwing in white ink is just as easy as black. So you can see how I can highlight those lines really quickly, really easily, and then hit X again, and I'm right back to black. So what I'll do, oh, and by the way, R is rotate in Manga Studio. That's another big key essential. And spacebar gives you the hand so you can move it around. So I just want to kind of explain some of the things that make it faster to do your inking. You can see I'm kind of feathering each line. Some I like leaving this little bump off to the side. Other ones I like making it entirely smooth. And to me, what that kind of emulates is the effect that you get from using a crow quill or a brush, versus a micron or, these are all different things to emulate, you know, traditional methods. So there's a couple little lines, and I just practice doing a variety of those. So, another one is, like I said, the thick to thin line, but smooth, where I'm trying not to leave any kind of little bump off to the side. And see, I'm not trying to make them perfectly even. You want a little bit of variance there. You want that hand feel look with your art. Then if I was to cross hatch this, I'd probably have an angle about like this. Something like that. And then let's see, another popular one is where you kind of make this horizon line effect. The lines start out very tight, and you just slowly space them. I don't know what they call this one. I don't do this much in a lot of my drawings, but it's pretty common. I'll see some guys will fill this part in. Something like that. Like I said, I don't use that one a lot, and sometimes you'll see them throw another little line like this. It's always good to study all these, different artists, and see, what they use where, when, and why. Um, One that I do a lot, I use it for hair and stuff like that, is I'll do all these tight lines together and then just kind of bring them out to a point. Just like this. And to me, this one looks, by doing this effect, it looks a little bit more like you would see with a brush. It's a good way to just warm up and get your hand going before you ink a piece. And you'll always notice that towards the end of when you're inking a page or a panel, that the stuff at the very end looks better than the stuff at the beginning, just because, like anything else, you warm up as you're doing that. So I tend to warm up and practice on side sheets like this, just to get a feel for what I'm going to do. So like I said, this I would use for something more flowing, like hair, or maybe a cape, some kind of shading like that. And if it was hair, I'd probably do the same thing where I'd hit, let's see, X here, convert it to white, and have a few of the strands, flowing in front of the other hair to create more depth. Go back to X. Something like that. Okay, and let's see what else. You've got more of a stippling style too, where you have all the marks closer together like this. And slowly break away from the density, or thin it up. This one works really good for, like, hairs, chin hairs, um, textures on brick. Okay, and what else? Got cross-hatching, kind of this horizontal thing, the hair, stippling, which stippling can be done all kinds of ways. It can be just little dots like this. Depending on how far you're away from something visually. This could be a crowd of people, or it could just be, you know, dirt on the side of an object. So it just really depends on what you're trying to make it look like. But stippling can be used for a lot of different texturing effects like that. So you practice those ones. You've got line work where you're trying not to make it look as feathered. So I guess I could just do it like this. Or you know what, better yet, I'll show you one where you would use that. And even with a slightly larger brush, like this. And all you're doing is drawing about 5, 6, or 7 lines side by side, and then angling them from each other each time. And it's just a good texturizing effect. I've seen this just for walls, just for backgrounds, for if you're trying to make something interesting or different in the background of the paneling or whatever, or your frames, then you would do something like this. It looks kind of neat. I actually use this one quite a bit when I run out of stuff and I'm trying to just do something different. It's kind of one of those brainless activities where you could just do it without really thinking about it, and it comes out okay. And being that it's digital, you could copy a few of these and move them around and probably really start to fly through this if you needed to. You could probably cheat on this one, and I don't think anybody would notice. So there's that one. Let's see. And the point of this is, like I said, I've had so many people ask me about what brush to use, what settings. All these various things that I just showed you are all done with the same exact brush. I didn't change one single setting. I'm just trying to come up with a different look each time. So, and like this one, feathered line. I'm going to do them varying heights, varying thicknesses, and then I'm going to put like these little dashes at the end just to give it a little bit more texture, almost like the ink pen is running out of ink at the tip of it. Again, this is just another variety of line work that you can pull off with the same settings, and by doing that you just make it look like you're using all these different pens or all these different techniques, and really they're just, you know, things that you've practiced and been able to accomplish. You know, you should be able to accomplish this with a digital media or digital setup, or a rapidograph pen, or a I really like these. I can't remember the name of them, but I think they're by Pilot, and they're just a nicer pen that's easy to get a thick to thin line. I don't use them very much anymore, but I used them towards the end a lot when I was inking and I didn't want to keep dipping a crow quill, or um, you know, winging a brush or whatever. Although don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking those, because there's some amazing stuff that you can do with those. I just like the idea that I don't have to clean anything up when I'm doing digital, and I like the idea that I can quickly add in white, black, layers, all that fun stuff, and come up with stuff really quickly, and just suits my needs. So, and that's really all it is. You just keep using these same techniques and coming up with different textures, different lines. Trying to make sure I'm not forgetting anything that I wanted to show you with these. And it's really just important that you just practice. Oh, think in terms of curved lines too. I guess that's it. These got a bit of curve, but a lot of these are straight. The other thing you want to do is off a solid. Let me say you get this solid shape here. Oh, it's horrible. Hold on. And that's the other thing. You do want to practice different shapes and then shading off those, because that's how you're going to do a lot of your, like, you know, muscles, and um, predominantly everything is going to come off, you know, a spot of black or some black, and then you're going to do your shading to it. So it's very important that you learn what kind of shapes you want to use also. I do this broken line one a lot. It's kind of one that I'm more particular to. And then say down here, you maybe just want to shadow it a bit off the one side. This is traditional off muscles. You might leave a little bit where it's blacked, or you might have some lines that come off from the side like that. Something like this, and it breaks away and down like this. So yeah, you just want to practice all these different varieties. Then it's cool again where you flip the color back, reverse the lines back this way, and sometimes that looks pretty neat too. So you just mess around and try these different things. So alright, again, all that was done with one brush, one setting. No changes really as far as that goes. And then also practice, you know, drawing with negative. Like you got blades of grass here, right? So you got one blade of grass, another blade, another one, and all I'm drawing is the shadow of it. I'm not tracing it. I'm just drawing the lines that shade it. So if one passes through all of these, I just go shadow, shadow, shadow here like that. But I'm not drawing it. If I was tracing around the grass this isn't coming out the best. Hold on. Yeah. I guess what I'm trying to tell you though, if I was tracing around this, I'd be going like this. Something like that. And it would look very boring, and even though that part didn't come out the best, I'm sorry. Hold on. I keep trying here. Usually I can figure it out if I'm not getting it right. Oh, that's oogly. Let me try it again. And what I'm saying is, though, you know, a lot of comic book drawing is, instead of drawing, say, you know, I don't know, here's a cheekbone, right? Here's an eye, something like that. Instead of drawing these lines all the way around the cheekbone and getting a very traced object like this, instead how you should look at it is just the shadow that would make that cheekbone. So you got a shape of a shadow goes under it, shape of a shadow that goes under the brow, maybe the pupil, connect to that, shape of the shadow under the eye, and shape of the shadow from the nose. So once you start drawing in the shadows of it and leaving the side that faces the light pretty much gone from the illustration, you start coming up with a very cool comic book style, even though that's coming out really horrible, but it's the idea that I'm trying to express. So you want to do that in your artwork. I don't do it enough. I sometimes overly trace it and then I have to erase parts, but again, another beauty of the digital world, because you can easily rectify that. Like if I wanted to, I could, I guess, draw the blades of grass like I don't want to say most people, but like even myself included, but a lot of people would try to draw or paint every blade, right? So let's paint that in like this, very crudely. There. But now I want the effect that I was telling you about, like the negative, so I flip it back to white and I eliminate some of it to the right of each of it, almost like the light is hitting the blades of grass so strong that it eliminates some of the shadowing that's in there. And that's pretty much how, if you look at artwork, even if you take colored photos and convert them down to grayscale, definitely once you convert them down to line art, that's what you're going to see. So it's kind of just noticing that and drawing that in. So at any rate, that's what I wanted to show you. Excuse me. It's good to see comic book art in this fashion, and you come up with a lot of cool stuff. So anyways, there you go. Like I said, I had a few people that were asking about that. Again, it's not the settings, it's just taking the time to mess with the tool and make it work for you. The thing that I would focus most on is probably your thick to thin pen sensitivity, which you're going to find in the Wacom settings, not inside Manga Studio. I mean, you have some adjustments in there too, but just focus more on using the G pen that they give you right out of the box, so to speak, and I think you'll be better off. So thanks for watching. Be sure to leave comments below. Let me know what you'd like to see in the future, and more videos each week. And check out ramstudios1.deviantart and the Blackstone Eternal comic book on Indie Planet. Thanks for watching. More to come. Keep drawing. Keep having fun.